Resilient Queen, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are resilient, you are capable. You are not the scars, the hurt, or the pain. You are so much more, and you are more than enough. You have everything you need to level up, faith up, and bounce back into the ring of life. Come here, girl. Let me fix your crown. There you go. Looks good. Resilient Queen, let's go. Welcome back to the Diary of a Resilient Queen podcast. This is your girl, Tony, and I am so excited to be back with you this week to be talking about the art of becoming. I know we talk about that a lot with the Diary of a Resilient Queen, but today I think that we're going to shift just the narrative of what becoming has always been into something that I feel that God has just been speaking to me about. So let's go ahead and get started. So today we'll be talking about becoming and desirable measurements. I know that's a lot. Because when we think about becoming, we think about just this journey of getting to who we're called to be, getting to who we desire to be, and doing that in desirable measurements means that you're actually taking the time to take small steps, small measurements to get to the big picture. And I know a lot of times we don't want to take things slow and we get kind of scared when we take things slow because we think that that thing won't come to us, or we think that we'll never, see the light at the end of the tunnel. We think that we'll never reach that goal or achieve all that we have been working towards if we take smaller steps. But what God has been speaking to me about lately is just the big idea, but the things that God is doing in me each and every day and each and every moment, they're all small steps to the big picture. So if we look at things that way, like look at your life in a way that basically you have this big picture idea. You want to be this, you want to be that. But what is happening today that's contributing to that big picture of who you want to be or who you desire to be? So once you start looking at it that way, you can then say, okay, I'm going to show up each day little by little to make sure that I'm meeting this big picture idea of what I'm trying to be. So, for an example, if I know that in the future I want to be a therapist, so what that entails is for me to go to school. And yes, the grand idea is that we finish grad school, we get our hours, we get licensed, we land this perfect job that we love, and it's all uphill from there. But life happens and things happen. So with that, maybe just taking it one class at a time may be a desirable measurement. So whatever your ending goal on who you want to be or what you want to be in life, remember to take those small desirable measurements. Small and desirable. Choose something that's very small, to where you can start. Maybe something that you can incorporate into your daily routine, something that you can incorporate into your life, to where you're not in chaos. You're not at a place where you're not rested enough, or your mind isn't clear enough to where you cannot hear God. You cannot operate from a place where God is trying to use you and speak with you. Because let's be honest, when it comes to who we're called to be or who we're desiring to be, God is going to need to be in the picture. So we're going to need to make sure that we keep ourselves grounded enough just to make sure that we're there at that position that God needs us. Okay, so I do have six I guess tips for becoming in desirable measurements, where I had just been meditating over it, and God has just been giving me different things as I've been praying and meditating over, you know God, you got me becoming into this new woman, and I'm seeing the woman that I desire to be. Now I need to know what are some tips on how to get through this process. So, number one, and it's so crazy because I'm looking at this on my desktop as we were on my desk as we speak, and God is like, that is number one. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Number one is be still and know that He is God. Psalm 46:10. A lot of the times we think that we have the master plan and we know everything, and if we're going and we're moving and we got this long to-do list that we're getting things done, that we got to reach the ideal goal. We have to get there, right? If we have this long to-do list and it's complex and it's not simple and it's hard, and I did A, B, C, and D to get here, so this is why I deserve this, and all of that really is fleshly. All of that, that seeking for achievement and doing it out of your own will and self-righteousness, all of that, that's fleshly. So when we get in a place where we just know that, sitting at the position that God needs us, sitting at His feet, we know that we don't have to fret or worry or stress about the things that God has already promised us. So when we're in a place of stillness, it's not that we're not working, it's not that we're not moving, it's not that we're being lazy or in this place where we just gave up. No, it's being still so that you can get the strategy from God, being still so that you can operate from a place of rest and operate from a place of wholeness with God, so that you don't have to do 15 things. Because let me tell you, God is a master strategist, because just when you think you have to do 15 things, God will shape it to where this is the main goal, but you only have to do three. So imagine God giving you the master strategy and you only have three things to do versus the 15 things you were trying to set yourself to do because you were doing it out of your own will and your own way. So that's number one. Be still and know that He is God. Okay. So number two is healing is a journey and it takes time. When we're becoming and we're taking these steps to become the women that we desire to be, we understand that there's a lot of healing that goes in place of that. And though we want our healing to be this fast action type of thing, and we want to be better, be whole, be at a place of where we feel better from the situation we've been through, we have to understand that it's going to take time. The healing is for you. In the healing, you become better, you become a new person, you're not who you were before, when the incident did happen, or when you went through the trauma, or when you went through the pain. You're not that person anymore. And healing continues to just mend those broken pieces that may have happened when you went through things. That's what so healing takes time. And I know sometimes we want to rush to feel better, but the healing and feeling the emotions, it brings out a part of us, a strength in us, that is going to, stand firm in the next chapter of your life. It's going to stand firm when you do get triggered again. So, just be gentle with yourself and know that it's going to take time for you to heal. So, number three, is give yourself grace. Let me say it again. Give yourself grace. And even if you're not giving yourself enough, give yourself some more, girl. Because I don't know how many times where I see, just from myself and other women as well, where, we're always, in a place of doing because we're working towards this big picture of who we want to be as women. But at the end of the day, you have to give yourself grace. Okay, you don't have to be superwoman. You don't have to have it all together right now. You don't have to follow the trends. You don't have to follow social media. You don't have to follow everything that is out there that's telling you that you have to be something that maybe you're not today. Give yourself grace. If it gets done, it gets done. If you become it, you become it. But allow it to manifest. Allow God to do a work in you. Allow it to come to fruition. Allow it to. Give yourself grace. Okay? You cannot go around here and do your job and God's jobs too. Okay? You can't do it. So, why not just give yourself grace? Do what you can do and leave God's job up to God. Okay, because we were moving through this. Number 4, I think I mentioned it in the beginning when we were talking in the introduction part, but this one, number 4 is choose 1 to 3 areas to work on at a time. Listen, I know you're trying to become, this boss woman, this boss queen, who has all these different goals accomplished. And, you're trying to get out here and do all these things. But you're going to have to choose 1 to 3 areas because let me tell you, life is real. Life happens. And you don't want to be doing 10 different things in 10 different areas and you're not able to really show up 100% or even enough in each area. If you do decide to do more than one, to you're not able to show up in each area to see the change, to see the progress, to see where you're going, to see where you're getting closer to becoming that woman, closer to reaching that goal, or the ideal, or whatever the journey that you're on. So choose 1 to 3 areas to work on at a time. If it takes you the whole 2022 to work on one goal, queen, clap for yourself. You are doing a good job. You are doing so good at working on one goal and seeing it all the way through. Because imagine the times when we work on 10 or 20 goals at one time and then we don't even reach the halfway mark. So work on that one thing, or if you can manage 3 or 2, more than one. Okay, if you can manage that, then do that. But I wouldn't, push myself past 3. Just make sure that you're showing up in those areas. So that's number 4. Number 5, taking one step is a step. When you're becoming in desirable measurements, even the one baby step you take, even if you get up today and you do something different than yesterday, you are making progress. One step is still a step. Making one change is still change. Shifting 1% is still progress. Okay, so it is okay to make that one step and be okay and stop there and take a rest and sit and rest in God at that moment, because you know what? One step is still progress. And I keep repeating it because listen, I need to hear it, and I'm sure it's some queens out there that need to hear it, that one step is a step. Okay? You are one step closer to becoming the woman that you desire to be. You are one step closer to reaching that goal. You are one step closer to, just being who you see in your head, meeting that person in the vision that you see for your life. You are one step away. Okay? So once you make that one step, you're one step closer. Okay? And that's progress. I have to keep saying that. That's progress. Because sometimes we think we need to make 10 to 15 steps just for it to be progress. But no, that one step is progress. All right. So, number 6. This one is an area that I'm really working on. And I love it though. But I love that I have a mentor who I am going to be sharing her story on here soon on the podcast, because she did share for our Her Resilience story campaign. She did share her story about self-care, and she just embodies self-care, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys so that you can just hear, just the charge to self-care. But number 6 is to take care of yourself. Listen, I know you want to do all the things. I know you want to show up for everybody. I know that you want to be the one that makes it happen for everybody. And, whether you're showing up as a wife, a mom, a minister, a business owner, nonprofit owner, you're showing up as usher at your church. You're showing up praying for friends. You're showing up as that girlfriend. You're showing up as that partner. You're showing up in so many ways, and you're stretching yourself thin. And you never show up for you. And the thing is, when we don't show up for ourselves, we're pouring from an empty cup. And we might think that, okay, we're showing up for everybody, it looks good, but we're really cracking under the foundation. And it's only going to be so long before it's all over and we have a mental breakdown, or we cannot rejuvenate ourselves a certain type of way to show up the next day. It's going to come a time, if we're not taking care of ourselves, that we crack under pressure. And for us to even, put that much of burden and weight on ourselves, it just shows that we're not caring for ourselves and we're not taking care of ourselves. So, in the light of being gentle with ourselves, take care of yourself, queen, and then pour. Once you are filling up your cup, then you pour. If it is self-care, it's not just bubble baths, it's not just facials, it's not just getting your nails done. Yes, of course, those things are awesome, but really dig and see what is taking care of yourself. Is it getting up in the morning, getting dressed so that you can feel that you're a part of your day? Is it taking out an hour each day just to sit in stillness? Okay? Is it, getting in early, or blocking off, time for yourself? Or is it putting your phone on do not disturb so that you don't get interrupted time when you're at home with your family? What is taking care of yourself? How are you showing up for you? How are you showing up for you? And I know some things that I'm practicing, and one thing that my mentor actually said was so profound. She said, no is a complete sentence. And that's been something I've been working on for years, actually, with no being a complete sentence, because a lot of, and I've been working on myself with it, trying to figure out, okay, why can't I say no in some situations? But I know a lot of it has to do with just, how I was raised and, just finding my voice as I was a child to now. I've been really finding and strengthening my voice and who I am. So as I have been doing that, I've noticed that, saying no is liberating now, because I couldn't say no in the past. So that's one way that, I could say self care and me taking care of myself has been liberating for me at this moment. So, number 7, and this is our last one, is don't be afraid of the new. I know when we're comfortable and we're used to, being in our routines and being in the different ways and different things that we have in life, we tend to get comfortable and we tend to not want to embrace the new. We tend to want to just sit down and be like, okay, this is all right. This is how I have been all my life, and I don't need to change. I don't need to be anything new. But what I have found is, when God's calling us to something new, whether it's changing our lives, whether it's becoming a better person, whether it's, just, God pushing us into just what God has always dreamt for us, it's a new thing. And we become a new creation. And it's a molding that I cannot really explain. It's something that you have to experience, but it's not easy. And it's easy. I would say that it's easier to get comfortable in what you have known than it is to embrace the molding, because the molding, it hurts sometimes. The molding, you have to fit into it. So you're constantly changing, and God's constantly working on you. God's constantly inviting people in and taking people out and inviting new insight in and taking some of those toxic things or those things that don't serve you anymore out of your life. And you go through a lot, and sometimes it's draining. So embracing the new, I would say just go about it with just an open mind. Go about it knowing that when I go through this, I'm coming out better, because all things work together for your good. And you have to know, if God is in it, God's going to work it for your good. And you're not going to be left alone, and God is not going to forsake you. So you have to have that, even if it's a mustard seed of faith, to know that if you embrace this new, all of the possibilities and all of the things that God could do, there's no ceiling to it. It's no limit to it. So do not be afraid of the new. Embrace it. You're becoming. And when you remember, becoming is an evolving journey, meaning that you don't just hit a destination and that's the end. It's, you're always going to be becoming. You're always going to be progressing and becoming a new person. You're always, when you're on a journey of becoming. So that is all that I have for this week's episode. I just pray that you, yes, you, queen, yes, you, resilient queen, I just pray that, in becoming, that you just take the time that you need, that you seek God on just the woman that you desire to be, and that, you pray that it aligns with God's will for you, and that you show up each day, even if it's a little, even if it's a little bit, show up, even if it's 1%, okay, better than yesterday. Show up. It is okay to show up and continue to become that woman that you desire to be, but do it in little measurements. It's okay to do it in little measurements. It's okay to know that you're progressing each and every day. to become just that desirable woman that you may have envisioned or that God has sent you and God has called you to be. All right, so I'll see you next week.